What is up, everybody? Camera fell. All right, what is up, everybody? It is Tuesday, February 20th. Still coming off UFC 298. Today, I want to talk about what should be next for Topuria and a little bit about Volkanovski. So, maybe I should make two separate videos. Probably not going to though. But can we stop as a community of fans and fighters and participants? Can we stop trying to name someone the pound for pound best or the GOAT of a division? Because we're handing it out way too easily. And I don't want to say that to discredit anyone's work or anything. But you got to understand, when we talk about the top three, like, of all time, I don't think there's many people who will argue this top three. They will just argue the order. But it's Jon Jones, GSP, and Anderson Silva. Jon Jones has never fucking lost. He had the one to Matt Hamill, which was a disqualification from the illegal elbow, but he was dominating the fight. GSP has looked more talented and bounced back from any challenge and shown the sportsmanship, the ability to grow like the sports side, like intellectually, more than anyone. And what's he got? 2 losses? Maybe 1. I know he lost to Matt Hughes and then he came back and won it. And then he lost to Sarah and came back and won it. So both his losses. Anyway, Anderson Silva, hands down the most entertaining fighter to watch of all time in his prime. It was unbelievable the things he did to the people he did them to for the duration of time. He did that for years. You guys got to understand, back at this time, GSP and Jon Jones they were looking up to Anderson Silva, and Jon Jones it would have been a dream come true for him to have a catchweight fight with Silva. Like, Jon Jones openly idolized Silva coming up. Silva wanted the fight with GSP, but they didn't hand out these fights like they do now. Now you win a belt and they're like, oh, you want to fight the guy at the other belt? They were going to make them work their way up through the division, and that's what Silva was doing. Anyway, sorry, getting off track. But now, so people were talking about how dominant Volk was. Or now people are acting like Volk is kind of done or washed up or something. At least that's when I read comments and everything, that's what I get. I don't think that's the case. The truth is, I don't think he was as dominant as people ever wanted to put him as. So on his path to the belt, he beat Ortega. Didn't he fight I know he defended the belt to Yair Rodriguez, but I felt like he fought him coming up. He beat Ortega, Jose Aldo on his way out, and then someone else. Then what I'm trying to say, though, is the dominant performance where he really showed and got into and stepped into a spotlight was against Max Holloway. In that first fight, people had different thoughts. The second fight, we definitely had different thoughts. He kind of got handed those. I'm not saying he didn't win the fight, but they were so close. That's fair. The third fight, so they have the 2 back-to-back, squeaks by, debatable on who won. And then I think he defended it to, like, the Korean Zombie. He might have had one more defense. They might have thrown Yair in there. Then he goes back to Max. He does show the gap in talent against Max on their third fight. And we'll admit that. He definitely won the third fight. That could have been a shortcoming of Max, though. Then he's lost to Islam twice, and now he's lost to Topuria. Where in this process did he become the GOAT? Because the truth is, he worked his way up. And I like Volk. I'm not trying to down Volk. But if we take out a personality and a person and just call it Fighter A or something, he worked his way up through Max's scraps. Max had already beat all the people he beat on his come up. Then he has debatable fights with Max. So then Max is forced to beat him again. Volk ended up defending that belt to Zombie. I remember that now. Max freaking wrecked Zombie too. Max has beat Zombie twice, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong about that. But what I'm trying to point out, nothing that Volk did was comparable to GSP, John Jones, or Silva at all. He got in the spotlight about 2 years ago, winning the belt debatable from Max, then defended it debatable against Max, and really only had one performance with that belt where he looked like a champion. I'm just saying, can we stop putting people up there? Stop. Why is Islam up there? Why is Islam in a pound-for-pound list right now? What? Anyways, that leads me into my next thing. What's next for Topuria? Well, business-wise and entertainment-wise, Sean O'Malley wants Topuria. Sean O'Malley said like a month ago, when he beats Cheeto, he presented like that. He's like, when I beat Cheeto, if Topuria beats Volk, that's the fight that needs to happen. That's the fight that's going to happen, is the way he said it. I feel like Sean is ducking Corey. I'm just saying. I feel like Sean knows Corey can take him, and he doesn't want that fight. So he wants Topuria. Also, probably Topuria's worth. They're gonna make more money together. Corey just hasn't figured out how to sell the tickets yet. But again, when I'm talking about this GOAT thing, I'm sick of these people winning a belt and then getting a shot at another belt when they haven't earned it. I still feel bitter for Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva could have had 3 belts all at once if they would have treated it the way they treat it now. Topuria has to defend that belt in his division before he does like what they did with Islam and just have you fight Volk. Like, what? The person Topuria needs to fight next is Max. Max has been the gatekeeper for that division forever. Max questionably never lost those first 2 fights with Volk. He definitely lost the third. Then he won every fight in between. Somehow Max beats Year, and then Year ends up passing Max and getting a title fight with Volk. How does that make any sense? And the way it did make sense is Max had fought Volk 3 times, so you can't throw Max in there again. Well, Volk isn't the champion anymore. Volk did not do enough to get an immediate rematch. His performance did not look good enough to get an immediate rematch against Topuria. It's got to be Topuria and Max Holloway. It has to be. That's the right thing to do. And that's going to be one hell of a fight. I would love to see that fight. I feel like there was something else I was going to add to this, but that might be about it. I think Topuria and Max is the way to go. Everyone came up. Max has wiped everyone out as they came up and challenged him except Volk. Volk's out of the way now. As Max was forced to kind of take a step back and wait, he's wiped everyone out. They've got him fighting for that BMF belt. I'm pretty sure he openly said he doesn't even want to go to 155. He doesn't really care about the BMF belt. He's glad to put it for the fans and everything and have something to do. But he wants his belt at 145. And I feel like if he beats Dustin, you have to give him that shot. Max has done his part for this company and for this sport over and over. And I want to speak on something else. If you go and watch Max and how he trains, he does a lot of the things and approaches that I like to do. I'm not going to try to spill his philosophy or his coaches or whatever. You have to take the time on your own. When we talk about training and being smart, being safe, and making progress to get better, duration matters a lot. So if you go and look at Max's record and you go and look at the wins and losses and then you go and look at other fighters that have come and gone and who kill themselves with their wanting to be hard, wanting to be tough, I'm not saying Volk is one of those, but you can see how Max is relaxed and comfortable in his personality and everything. And his record reflects that comfort too. When we fight, we don't want to be tense and we don't want to be hard. And that was something that's been on, I don't know, that was randomly on my mind as I was thinking about it. And I was looking at Max's record right before this video and I was like, man, a lot of people when you see a loss at this certain point, a lot of people would have expected 5 more losses. If I looked at 10 fighters' records, I'm going to see it. Especially that second loss to Volk, you'd expect a fall off, but he didn't. He bounced right back, and then he got in there with Volk again. He got dominated in that, but then he bounced right back. That there's something there to that bounce back, that beyond the title picture and everything, we got it. There's something there in the way Max trains that leads to his success, and it has to do with keeping yourself safe and comfortable and confident. I don't know. That was just on my mind. But next fight for Topuria should absolutely be Max Holloway. Can we please stop calling everyone the GOAT just because they win a belt? Y'all have a good week.